Good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday. So, thank God it's Friday. The work week is done, and we get the last podcast episode of the week here on this wonderful Friday. Want to start off with the Lord's Prayer here. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Let's jump right in with the daily Bible verse, and it comes out of 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 7, and it goes by saying, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Always remember to fight the good fight. Spread the word. Spread the word. The good fight needs to be fought. And now let's go ahead and read Matthew chapter 13. Starts off with the parable of the sower. Verse 1 goes, the same day Jesus went out of the house and sat beside the sea, and great crowds gathered about him, so that he got into a boat and sat down. And the whole crowd stood on the beach, and he told them many things in parables, saying, a sower went out to sow. And as he sowed, some seeds fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured them. Other seeds fell on rocky ground where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up, since they had no depth of soil. And when the sun rose, they were scorched. And since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and produced grain. Some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He who has ears, let him hear. The purpose of the parables. When the disciples came and said to him, why do you speak to them in parables? Jesus always spoke in parables. And he answered them, well, Jesus taught in parables, I should say. To you it has been given to know the secrets of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it has not been given. For to the one who has, more will be given, and he will have an abundance. But from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. This is why I speak to them in parables, because seeing they do not see, and hearing they do not hear, nor do they understand. Indeed, in their case, the prophecy of Isaiah is fulfilled that says, you will indeed hear, but never understand, and you will indeed see, but never perceive. For this people's heart has grown dull, and with their ears they can barely hear, and their ears they have closed, lest they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For truly I say to you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see what you see, and did not see it, and to hear what you hear, and did not hear it. The parable of the sower explained. Hear, then, the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. This is what was sown along the path. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no root in himself, but endures for a while, and when tribulation or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately he falls away. As for what was sown among thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful. As for what was sown on good soil, this is one who hears the word and understands it. He indeed bears fruit and yields. In one case, 100-fold, in another, 60, and in another, 30. The parable of the weeds. He put another parable before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven may be compared to a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while his men were sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. So when the plants came up and bore again, then the weeds appeared also. And the servants of the master of the house came and said to him, Master, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have weeds? He said to them, an enemy has done this. So the servants said to him, then do you want us to go and gather them? But he said, no, lest in gathering the weeds you root up the wheat along with them. Let both grow together until the harvest, and at harvest time I will tell the reapers, gather the weeds first and bind them in bundles to be burned, but gather the wheat into my barn. The mustard seed and the leaven. He put another parable before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it is grown, it is larger than all the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like leaven that a woman took and hid in 3 measures of flour till it was all leavened. Prophecy and parables. All these things Jesus said to the crowds in parables. Indeed, he said nothing to them without a parable. This was to fulfill what was spoken by the prophet. I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter what has been hidden since the foundation of the world. The parable of the weeds explained. Then he left the crowds and went into the house, and his disciples came to him, saying, explain to us the parable of weeds of the field. He answered, the one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, and the good seed is the sons of the kingdom. The weeds are the sons of the evil one, and the enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. Just as weeds are gathered and burned with fire, so it will be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all causes of sin and all lawbreakers, and throw them into the fiery furnace, in the place where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, hell. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear. The parable of the hidden treasure. The kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. The parable of the pearl of great value. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls, who, on finding one pearl of great value, went and sold all that he had and bought it. The parable of the net. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted the good into containers, but threw away the bad. So it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. New and old treasures. Have you understood all these things? They said to him, yes. And he said to them, therefore, every scribe who has been trained for the kingdom of heaven is like a master of a house who brings out of his treasure what is new and what is old. Jesus rejected at Nazareth. And then Jesus had finished these parables. He went away from there, and coming to his hometown, he taught them in their synagogue, so that they were astonished and said, "Where did this man get this wisdom in these mighty works? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary? And are not his brothers James and Joseph and Simon and Judas? And are not all his sisters with us? Where then did this man get all these things?" And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without honor except in his hometown and in his own household." And he did not do many mighty works there because of their unbelief. The rejection of at the Nazareth. So, wanted to go back once again to the daily Bible verse of fighting the good fight. Fighting the good fight. Spread the gospel. Keep spreading the gospel until you have finished your race. But make sure you keep the faith in Jesus. Spread the word. Spread the message. Spread the news. Spread the news that Jesus will be coming back at some point. Spread the news that the gospel is a true thing. That, Jesus did come down, die on a cross for our sins after living a perfect life. And he came back 3 days later after dying on a cross to show that he is the Son of God, that he is the miracle of the world, that the gospel is true so that the Bible is true, that one day he will come down and he will get us people being the church, and that we will be reigning with him one day, heaven on earth, that we will be with him in heaven, living eternally with him. And I stress this not enough. Keep fighting the good fight. As much as it seems like it's not working, it is. It is for somebody. And whenever you can change somebody, you're doing something right. Putting these words out here online might affect somebody. And that's what I want to happen. I want them to hear these words. I want them to hear the gospel. I want them to hear the Bible, word for word. I want them to hear the stories of Jesus. I want them to hear the comments in the comments section, praising Jesus and praising God. And I want all of this to come back to change one or more people's minds that they need to start getting serious with God and Jesus. Because one day we won't all be here, and people will be thrown into the fire, and they will be thrown into the place where people will be weeping and there will be gnashing of teeth, and there will be nothing that they can do after that. And I urge people to go out and change people's minds. I try to do it every day. Today at work, somebody was swearing up and down on the Bible, and he swore on the Lord on things, and something silly. It wasn't anything serious. He wasn't legit swearing, but he says, "I swear to God, I swear it on the Bible." And I'm like, man, you shouldn't do that. That's not something you need to do, especially as a Christian man. You should never do that. I'm never gonna say what his name is because I don't want any flack going against him. I'm not in that way, of being. But I then looked up a Bible verse on where it says to not swear on things. And it pulled me into Matthew chapter 5 and something that we've read on here already. Matthew chapter 5, I think it's verses 32 to 37 to not take an oath on things, not take an oath on God or heaven or, Jerusalem, and not to swear on things because that comes from the evil one. But only to answer questions with yes or no. That requires that, never to swear on things like that. So I urge everybody to keep fighting the good fight and spread the gospel and spread the word around, because it will change people's minds. Because as soon as he heard that, he's like, oh, well, yeah, I understand now. I get it. So I urge people, use the Bible as your source, because it is right there. It is right here. You can literally go and download the Bible app on your phone, and you can carry this with you. It is a handheld Bible. It is a handheld Bible. You have it right here. You can go, you can look up the Bible right here. You can have plans. You can look up new things. You can look at all of your stuff on here. You can look at the daily Bible verse on here. This is exactly where I get it. I urge all of you, look this up, download it, study it, read it, everything, every single day. Because what is this? What is all of this if you're not willing to put in the work and willing to live like Jesus did every single day? To not try not to sin, to be more like him, to be closer to him, develop a relationship with him. Because if you're not looking to do that and you're a Christian, I don't know what you're doing. We are made to get a relationship with him, to keep one with him. It's just like a relationship here on earth. What is the things that you do in a relationship with somebody that you are willing to keep things going? You want to do the things to keep the relationship going. And what is one thing that you can do to keep the relationship going with God? Pray, talk to him, and read the Bible. It's not that hard. It just takes time out of your day. It keeps your mind focused on things. So please keep fighting the good fight. I'm begging you to do this, because it will change your life. It will change it. I promise you that. Just like he's changing my life over the last couple of years. He's brought me back in and pulled me in, and sometimes I feel like I'm slipping away, but man, oh man, whenever I come back, it is the most comforting feeling in the world. And go back in confidence. Don't go back timid. Go back in confidence. So thank you for listening to that rant. I appreciate it. But if you made it this far in this episode, go ahead, like the video, comment on the video, because I want to read the viewer comments every single video. That would be wonderful. And please subscribe. It helps out the channel. It will help out the channel eventually whenever it grows and blows up, because I just have a feeling that it will, and I keep on praying that it will, because I want to make this public and known, and I want to reach out to anybody that I can. But please subscribe. It's free. The worst that could happen, you don't like my content, you unsubscribe. It's all free. It doesn't hurt my feelings, I promise you that. But if you could just help me out and subscribe, that'd be wonderful. Now, let's switch to football. Analytics in football. Well, somebody got let go, or somebody decided to leave the Browns, which that in turn will talk about the last 10 years of the Browns with analytics and predictions for the Browns game on Sunday. I have a couple that might be bold takes. So analytics in football. Um, let's just say they don't work. They haven't worked. Um, and they continue not to work. It is something that, well, let me first off go ahead throw this on real quick because let's go Buckeyes. Um, they just don't work. Yes, sometimes you get lucky and it pans out, but analytics in football just doesn't work. In order to develop a good team, you need football. You need to know football. Analytics, all that stuff that works in baseball, it does not work in football and has been proven over the last 10 years. Paul DePodesta has stepped down as the chief strategy officer for the Cleveland Browns and is taking the role back to baseball after he spent 20 years in baseball as a chief strategy officer. I think that's what he was for those MLB teams. But he's going to the Colorado Rockies. So bye, see ya, so long. I hope your life goes well, and I pray that you have a wonderful life. But get off of my football team because analytics do not work in football. Um, Last 10 years for the Browns have been driven by analytics. Um, 1-31. Paul DePodesta was the chief strategy officer for that. Um, he was also the chief strategy officer when John Dorsey was here and drafted Baker, Myles Garrett, David Njoku, Denzel Ward, Nick Chubb. Seems like forever ago. He was also the chief strategy officer whenever Jarvis Landry was here, Odell Beckham Jr. was here, uh, Jabril. No, I don't think Jabril Peppers. No, I don't think so. But he was here whenever Kevin Stefanski got hired and Andrew Barry got hired. By the way, both of them were Paul DePodesta guys. So, um, we've had a long 10 years. We've made the playoffs twice. We have one win as a playoff team, um, in two losses. Not a great track record for the last 10 years as a chief strategy officer. Hoping that this changes the franchise around and maybe, just maybe, we can change some of the front office up a little bit. I wonder how it's going to affect us throughout the next couple years, and towards the end of the year. It's not helped us at all. And I have a feeling that it's going to continue to not help us until we get out from underneath this Deshaun Watson contract, which we only have a couple more years of that. Thank God for that. So I just have to say thank you for leading this team, Paul. But honestly, your better work was in baseball, and I'm glad you're going back. Not just because I'm a Browns fan, but because that's where you thrive. So good luck in your future endeavors. But thank you. See ya. Bye. Now, predictions for the Browns game. Let's go on the trusty notepad here that I had up yesterday. So far, yes. So this is a win for me. So 1-for-1. Is there a check mark anywhere? Let's go. X's are wins. Okay, so I didn't have anybody for yesterday's game. but we're still on for everybody else. So we're 1 for 1 so far. So, Browns. Oh, I forgot to flip the camera over. There we go. That's better. Browns predictions. So as you can see, I am 1 for 1 on the games predictions. It was an ugly game yesterday. I fell asleep. I didn't get to watch it. Thank goodness, because apparently it was a snooze fest. 10-7. So the Broncos won. Browns predictions. I'm obviously predicting a win. If we lose, there is some serious problems in this organization if we lose. So, I predict that we will win. I predict that Quinshon Judkins will score 2 touchdowns this game because he kind of did that against the Miami Dolphins. He scored 3, and I predict that he will at least score 2 against the Jets, who are almost just as bad defensively as the Dolphins. I predict that, and this is a hot take, Dillon Gabriel will, now I gotta word this correctly, throw for under 175 yards. And this in turn leads me to my next point. Dillon Gabriel will get benched by halftime. I don't think he lasts the full game. With Shedeur Sanders, I want to see him. I want to see what Shedeur Sanders has. If he sucks, then so be it. But I believe with Shedeur Sanders being QB2 this week, if we see a bad performance from Dillon Gabriel again, especially in the first half, I can see us benching Dillon and starting Shedeur in the second half, and I think that's what will happen. Let's go with 10 things. Myles Garrett. Does anybody remember the second to last time that Myles Garrett faced Justin Fields? 4.5 sacks. Record-setting sack game for Myles Garrett. He just had 5 against the Patriots. I believe Myles Garrett will have at least 3 sacks this game against Justin Fields. So there's 5 predictions. I believe that we will be losing by halftime. It's not out of the realm of possibility. With how this offense has looked, I don't underestimate that. I believe that Jerry Jeudy will have 10 targets this game. That is quite a bit because they said they were going to put an emphasis on Jerry Jeudy this game, at least from what I heard out of the bye week. I believe that Devin Bush will force 2 fumbles this game. That's a bold take, but he has been a solid linebacker, number 3 rated linebacker this year so far under PFF. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 so far. So I think, let's see. Trying to think in my head. David Njoku will have 1 touchdown. I think that's pretty reasonable. So there's 9. And I also think, since I think Dillon Gabriel is getting benched at halftime, Sanders will have at least 2 passing touchdowns in this game because I think the Jets are horrendously bad on defense. But those are my predictions. So if anybody wants to go ahead and bet with me on this, that would be awesome. But I don't suggest betting because spending money is bad. That's what I do sometimes. But thank you very much for tuning into today's episode. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. That'd be awesome. It would help out the channel a whole lot. And share this with a friend, please. I would very much appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining in to Faith, Family, and Football. And this is Elijah, your only host, wanting to say I love you. I am praying for you. And I'm praying for everybody else also. Yeah, rock on, rock out, peace.